I'd like for us to go to Parliament, and it'll be interesting to find out what the minority was doing when they moved out. Daniel Dazi is standing by with one of the minority members of Parliament. Let's listen.
We'll highlight all of those in less than 30 minutes at 1 p.m. on the 7th floor. I will not take the wind out of the sails. But hearing some of the things that we are hearing from the House, we hear the President saying that he hopes to have Parliament like this after the elections. Is the President interested in a one-party state? This vindicates our position that the President is not a Democrat. He's not interested in free, fair elections. The President wants an electoral register that is going to suppress voters' rights in this country so he can have a one-party state in Parliament.
In the President
is not a Democrat. He's a despot. He's a tyrant. He doesn't listen to the people who put him in power, but ultimately the power of the people is greater than the people in power.
In the first place, the President said that, in just a second, the President said that he would like his house, his side of the house, to occupy all the seats. He wants to have as many people from the MPP as possible. And also, it's interesting you mentioned the easy voters register. When this is within the purview of the Electoral Commission, why pin this on the President?
I'm sure you heard the President also say that people should go out and register. If it's within the purview of the Electoral Commission and the President has no stake, why is the President campaigning for one side? The President cannot approbate and reprobate. The President is not a man of integrity when it comes to the Electoral Commission register. You can't trust the President. You don't trust him. I don't trust him. Ghanaians don't trust him.
Well, you can't speak for me,
we'll see you at 1 p.m.
Thank you very much for joining us. Sam George, the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram. Sam George just explained that there will be a news conference at 1 p.m. where the minority side of the House will be articulating their reasons exactly for walking out of Parliament. I've been joined by the Deputy Majority Whip, Matthew Nyendam, who is Member of Parliament for Kwandai. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, my brother.
The minority staged a walkout on the President. They say, I just spoke with Mr. Sam George, who says that the President is not in support of democracy. He called him a tyrant and a despot. What do you say to this?
Well, let me use this opportunity to congratulate the President, to tell him he's done a yeoman's job. He has fulfilled his constitutional obligation, and we are fully supporting him. He has taken it from archaeology to zoology, and we are looking at the achievements so far that this government has chalked. But with regards to the minorities walkout, I think they've done themselves so much damage, and they haven't done their constituents any good, because they have no reason, absolutely no reason, to walk out from the President. Because where is their morals? Sometimes don't let us disgrace our leadership. If the whole minority leader joins the majority leader to walk in the President into the chamber, only for them to walk out for no reason, I think that it is an embarrassment. And like we indicated, we're never going to allow them to debate the state of the nation, because they have no moral right to debate. They have not done this country any good.
You will not allow them to debate the state of the nation address?
We wouldn't allow them, because you cannot walk out from the President, you wouldn't listen to the President, and you want to debate the state of the nation. What moral rights do you have? It is an indictment, it is a disgrace, and I must let them know that, look, they have lost it all.
Is it not their constitutional rights, and for the constituents that they represent, they would want their representatives to forward their arguments during that debate?
You must have a good reason why you want to walk out. Walkout is part of parliamentary proceedings. There must be a good reason. You don't just walk out because you want to walk out. What is their reason? My brother, you see, we are building this country together. It is not for NDC, it is not for MPP. It is Ghana. And for that matter, when we all have to come together as Ghanaians, let's demonstrate it. Let's demonstrate it. Because there's no reason. They have no reason.
So how exactly are you going to stop them from debating it?
Because
are you going to stop them from entering the House?
They will enter the chamber, and we will not allow them to debate it. Because,
how?
Because when we finish debating from our side, the next person who is going to debate will be from our side. Because we will not let the Speaker give them the opportunity to debate, because you are not part.
It's the Speaker who calls people to speak. I just don't understand how exactly you are going to stop someone from getting up to speak.
You will get to understand. From Tuesday, you will get to understand, because at leadership level, this debate was supposed to start on Tuesday. And anytime the majority gets the opportunity, the minority also get opportunity. But in this case, they decided they will not take part. How do you say you won't take part in the state of a nation and you will want to debate it? How are you going to debate it?
So this is a decision the majority has taken.
I'm telling you that this is the decision, and so shall it be.
Right, Mr. Nyendam, the President did deliver the State of the Nation address after all. What are your thoughts on some of the views that were espoused and some of the facts put out by the President?
Well, I think, like the President said, we came to this scene by promising the people of this country, giving them our manifesto, telling them that we'll come and this is what we're going to do. And like I said, he's taking it from archaeology to geology. He's talking about the free secondary school education, which was one of our prominent manifesto promises to the people of this country, and we have delivered. He's talking about the planting for food and jobs. He's talking about the economic indicators, where we inherited an economy that was growing at 3.4, 3.9 averagely, and today we are doing no less than 7% in growth. And we've talked about inflation. We've talked about the year of rose. Like he rightly said, talking about year of rose doesn't mean that previously we were not doing something, but it is a special attention that this year we're going to give to road development. The
SONA hydro facility, which is supposed to be the fuel for this year of growth, we are not seeing the road projects being rolled out at the pace that we would have liked. The Tamale Interchange Facility project was commissioned months ago. Where are the rest of the projects?
Yes, it's done on phases. The phase 1 was the Tamale Interchange and some other components that will also be rolled out very soon. But the year of roads is not depending mainly on the SONA hydro. No, I'm sure if you look at the component of the Eurobond, some portions are going into road development, and all the critical roads that we identified. If you move in now, most of the roads contractors are on site, and one is the Salaga-Banda road, one is the Bimbila-Salaga road, and I can tell you that across the country, all these roads are given special attention, and so shall it be. You realize that the president did not take much time to mention the roads in all. He just selected a few that are so important to all of us, and this is what the president is talking about. We are doing well, and I can say so far so very good. We are doing well.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Nyindam. He is a member of parliament for Pandai. He's also a whip for the majority side. He makes a very emphatic statement saying that the majority will not allow the minority to debate the State of the Nation address. I've been joined by the Deputy Northern Region Minister, the Deputy Northeast Minister. Pardon me, you used to be Deputy Northern Region Minister. You are now Northeast Minister. Solomon Boa, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, my brother.
Are you aware of this decision by the majority that you will not allow the minority to debate the State of the Nation address?
It doesn't even make moral sense for the minority to become a state of the nation. They want to be part of the debate. Okay, I'll come back. You decided that you won't give respect to a constitutional provision. Very immoral, because this is something that is a constitutional imperative. You are the president. In fact, he's not the president, he's not an MPP president. He's the president of the nation. He has come. If you have any concerns, the best way, even though boycott is one of the things that you have to do, it is not in situations of this that you do and attract sympathy of the public. The court of public opinion, I can tell you, are condemning what they have done, and they will continue to condemn it. And I can tell you that on the 7th of December 2020, they will be very emphatic in their condemnation as far as their behavior is concerned, because this is the 4th State of the Nation address before the major election that is on our hands. Then your people want to listen to you, your people want you to participate, then you go on this trajectory.
They say they were representing the will of their constituents. They say it is because of their people that they decided to walk out. And besides, what they did is not illegal.
I have told you that I have not said that it is illegal. I am saying that if I were them, look, these laws are not cast. The laws are laws, but there are instances where you have to inject your own reasonability into it to be able to make a meaning out of it. And if I were them, I would never have gone on this tangent, because I can tell you that the backlash on them, the backlash on the minority will haunt them up to the election period. Back my way.
Now, since you are so passionate about the law, which part of the law empowers a side of parliament to prevent the other side from taking part in a debate on behalf of their constituents?
No, I've just told you that the best place they can debate is to go on radio. They back it on the wall. That is the best place that they want to go and run their propaganda. Because you decided that you won't sit down and listen to the State of the Nation that's presented by the president. So they've not listened to the president. What are they going to be debating about?
Now, the question is not about what they can or they cannot. The question is about what the Constitution mandates them to do. And the Constitution does not mandate any side of the House to stop the other from taking part in a debate.
My brother, the matter is very simple. I've just told you that they don't have the moral right to even sit and say that they want to be part of this debate. The matter is very simple. If you were the one, if you were the speaker, where will you even have the moral aptitude to even say that I'll call somebody from the minority side with all this disrespect that they've shown to the Speaker.
Right.
The Speaker is supposed to be an independent person. He's the one controlling the House. This is what they've decided to do in the House. So the Speaker has the right to do what he wants to do. And I'm saying that this is very shameful. This is condemnable. It will continue to be condemned by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I can tell you that most of their constituents are not happy with what they have done. Because I have received a lot of calls from NDC faithfuls who are saying that why have they put us to this shame?
Right. Thank you.
So it's not a good thing. And I'm telling that they have to apologize to this country. They should apologize to the president. They should apologize to the speaker. They should apologize to the majority leader and everybody from the majority side before we can even they can even think of being allowed to be part of this debate.
Solomon Boa, Northeast Region Minister, thank you very much.
But I have to use this opportunity to thank the president for being very focused. This is a very focused president, especially this year that he has declared a year of rules. He indicated that last year was year of return, and people saw the magnitude of the people who came into the country. This is a year of rules. If you go to everywhere, look, visit my constituency, for example. The march talked about Bunkulugu Nalegu Road. Since 1992 has been the nagging issue. Today it's a thing of the past. I want to use the opportunity to thank the president, the Wulugu Kwazinkwe Road, the Nalegu Buntiri Road, so many of them.
Right, Mr.
I don't know, but this presence is just too much.
Right, Mr. Boa, thank you. Thank you very much. He's Northeast Region Minister.
Thank you.
I'm now here with the Minister for Communications, Ursula Owusu Ekufo. Madam Minister, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here. We meet again this morning. We're together on radio. The minority staged a walkout. Your reaction?
Responsibility to the constituents who voted them into office to listen to their constitutional requirement of the president delivering his State of the Nation address to Parliament. But as the president indicated, it's a sign of things to come. Nature abhors a vacuum. They would also stage a walkout in the 2020 December polls, and we will occupy the entire space on the House in the country. After all, as the president indicated, what they were unable to do in their 16 years in power, we have done in 3 years. And so the government and people, the government is in very solid hands, focused, dynamic. We are delivering on our mandate to the Ghanaian people. They've shown clearly that they are completely clueless when it comes to governance. They are totally visionless when it comes to delivering on a policy for growing this economy and steering the affairs of state. It's not for me to say, but the people of Ghana are witnesses to it. Now, if indeed the president has said something offensive, which they were reacting to, it would have been understood. But staging a walkout, which is uncalled for, totally without reason, it looks as if they've taken leave of their senses, excuse me to say, particularly when their leadership also indulges in this completely unnecessary and senseless exercise.
Now on their reasoning, they will be speaking at 1 p.m., but we have got some indication from them that your ministry may be passed. They name the closure of radio stations as a sign that your government is undemocratic, among other reasons, that your government is undemocratic.
The law says, and they've tested the law in all the courts in the Electronic Communications Tribunal and lost. They filed matters before the court and discontinued those matters. How is it undemocratic? You are enjoined. There are rules governing the conduct of every activity in this country. We have laws passed by this House, which they, as lawmakers, ought to respect. So if you have a radio station which has been operating for 16 years without renewing its authorization, and it is shut down in accordance to law, you take it to the tribunal, and the tribunal says the NCA was right in what it is doing. You attempt it in court and you are thrown out. How is it undemocratic?
In the case
do they believe in the enforcement of our laws or not? You cannot pick and choose which laws to enforce when it suits you. Laws passed by this House, and we all swore an oath to respect and obey the Constitution and the laws of this land? Are they telling us that they will respect the laws that they are comfortable with and what they are not comfortable with? They have no business being legislators if that is their attitude to the governance of this country. That's why I'm saying they're totally clueless, visionless, directionless, and purposeless, and obviously leaderless and rudderless. They have no idea what it means to govern this country. If they are legislators worth their salt, they will uphold the Constitution and the laws of this land in its entirety.
In the spirit of upholding the Constitution, I've heard your chief whip mention that you will not allow the minority to take part in the debate of the State of the Nation.
What would they be debating?
Is that also not lawless?
What would they be debating?
But the principle is...
What will they be debating?
The principle...
No, they boycotted the presentation of the State of the Nation.
But it's not your place
what will they be debating? It is the duty of the Speaker to regulate the conduct of activities in the House.
Not the majority.
It is up to the Speaker to rule upon it.
That members of your side have said that they will not allow, they will make sure that the minority side does not debate.
What will they be debating? That's the point I'm asking.
The question is it lawful?
You were
the question I am asking is it lawful?
presentation of the State of the Nation address. You didn't deem it worth your time to sit and listen to it. What moral right? What right do you have to go and debate matters you heard outside the chamber, reported by the media when you were not there? This message was supposed to be presented before you. You choose to abdicate your responsibility. They should do the noble and the honorable thing and follow through this path that they have embarked on to its logical conclusion. If I were there,
my question remains unanswered.
They should boycott the debate as well.
My question remains unanswered. Is it lawful?
No, I'm saying that conduct of affairs in the House are in the bosom of the Speaker, and he rules on it. Our leader has made a plea to the Speaker that if they were not here, they not be allowed to take part in the debate. It is up to the Speaker to determine whether they are allowed to take part in the debate or not. But if they attempt it, they will see us in the House.
They will see you do what?
Oh, but as the President said, we are ready. And we've accepted the mantle that they've thrown down. They are not prepared to be part of their business in the House. We are ready, come 7 December, to wrestle every single seat and make sure that an MPP member of Parliament occupies that seat. As the good book says, wherever we plant our feet, the Lord will deliver it into our hands.
They will see you do what?
Today, I sat on an MPP NDC seat in Parliament. I pray that the Lord will deliver every seat that we occupy today into the hands of the new Patriotic Party parliamentary candidates contesting in that area.
Asla Uswokufu there, she is Minister for Communication.
We are here with Kojo Oponkroma, Information Minister. Mr. Oponkroma, the minority staged a walkout. Have they succeeded in marring this event, the President's final State of the Nation address?
The President has had a fantastic opportunity to deliver his final State of the Nation address within the regular period. He will do one at the end of the year, before Parliament wraps up finally. And today he had the opportunity to speak to the key highlights of what he's done in the period, the key challenges he inherited, how he's turned them around, the results so far. And for me, what was most exciting is what more he intends to do before this term is over, and God willing, in the next term. He's had a brilliant day, and we thank all of those who have lived up to their constitutional obligations today.
But still, some say the walkout, it has put a dampener on this.
I don't think so. I think the walkout is disappointing. I dare say it's irresponsible. I think that it is a very dangerous precedent we are setting by undermining the pillars of our democracy. The State of the Nation address, as I've said over and over again, is not a motion by a member of Parliament. It's not the normal course of business. It's not a statement, even by a minister or a member. It's not a report being presented by a member of a committee. It is a constitutional requirement that the President, whether he likes it or not, however he feels about the minority, must appear before the entire country on the platform of Parliament and present a report, a message on the State of the Nation. The President has no choice in this matter. The Chief Justice has no choice. The judiciary all has to robe and be here because it is part of our requirements. So you saw the Chief Justice there. If he's not there, the acting Chief Justice will be there. The Vice President is there. Former heads of state, they have been invited, they are here. There's only one who refused to be a part of it because he's on a tour somewhere else in the country. So it is unthinkable that while the majority and minority have roles to play, then the minority, from what we are hearing on the sites, will say that their flag bearer has called that they should step up their protest against the new register, and therefore they are walking out of the chamber to go and demonstrate. It is unthinkable. It is disappointing. But more importantly, I think that it's a dangerous precedent. So tomorrow, in the unlikely event in the future that the minority wins an election and they have a president in the seat, they expect us to participate in the State of the Nation address.
So this is what you heard
next week, if they come onto the floor and the debate starts, they expect us to listen to them when they are raising what I would even believe are cogent issues about the state and about State of the Nation address. We don't do these things because if we do them, we set dangerous precedents for ourselves.
Matthew Nyenam has stated that the majority will not allow the minority to debate. Surely this is as unlawful as the situation you described.
Well, but that is why I'm saying that it is a dangerous precedent. I'm not happy with what is going on. When people watch parliamentary proceedings, a lot of people say Parliament is not a serious house. These people are not serious. I didn't come into Parliament to be part of a circus. I came to Parliament to do serious business, where both sides of the House must attend to the needs of the country. You listen to the president, let him deliver his constitutional obligations, rise as part of the debate him, disagree with him on a matter of substance. You don't do this that because your flag bearer says he doesn't like new register, we are leaving the chamber to go and demonstrate.
Is that what you heard?
That is what we are hearing on the sites.
Where?
Oh, but why? We are both in this chamber. We all have people around who talk to us. And it's terrible. We don't do that. You may want to find out. They had placards there about the new register. They don't want new register. It gives credence to what we are hearing. But there is no justifiable grounds.
But still, it's hearsay, isn't it?
Well, but
directly connected to former President Mahama.
Yeah, but you see the placards there. Those placards are not hearsay about the new register, etc. I'm saying that there is no justifiable basis for which you will say you are not going to perform your constitutionally mandated obligation. There's no justifiable grounds. We shouldn't do these things to our democracy because if we do so, we undermine the democratic institutions. If tomorrow, indeed, the majority goes ahead with this threat that we won't listen to them, we won't let them participate in the debate. Haji Halima Mahama is here. I'm sure she will join us.
Yes,
so let me step aside for her. But if the majority say they won't participate or they won't debate with the minority, they won't do business with them, where are we going with our democracy?
They name a number of reasons, and we have picked that, yes, the voter register is indeed one of them.
Is a legitimate grounds to abdicate from your constitutionally mandated obligation. If the Supreme Court is sitting today and one of the Supreme Court judges says that because he's not happy with his back pay or something, he won't sit, he will be abdicating from his constitutionally mandated obligation.
Is it not rather a demonstration of their indignation with the way the president is handling affairs?
Saying, well, how's the president handling affairs? Coming to fulfill his constitutionally mandated
It's not limited
obligation.
To today. It's actually spread to for example, a number of months.
For example,
they name the closure of radio stations. They name, they say the president
has not closed radio stations. You are journalists. Let us always put the fact out there. The president has never closed radio stations. This is how come people went around saying that the president has given tax waivers. It's not true. We came to Parliament 2 days ago to now consider it. The president cannot close radio stations. Radio stations that didn't renew their frequency went to court that the NCA didn't have the power to fine them. The court said, yes, NCA doesn't have power to fine you. But the reality is that you have actually relinquished that frequency because you didn't renew it. You want the NCA, I'm coming. You want the NCA to be in contravention of the court ruling. How do you then say that you interpret it to mean that the president has closed down radio stations? Therefore, your obligation, you went around campaigning, got voted for, swore an oath on the Quran and the Bible that you come here and do your work. You say you have interpreted the court ruling that the president has closed down radio stations, so you won't come and do your work. That's totally unthinkable. The NCA has given its reasons. If you are not comfortable with what you do, there are courts in this country. How do you then say that you won't do your job because of that? It is a precedent, a dangerous precedent. I've told you, in the unlikely event that the NDC wins power someday, and if they come, do they expect us to participate? Next week, when they come with some contribution they want us to discuss, do they expect us to participate?
Not participating.
We are undermining our democracy if we do this. And civil society, religious bodies, media, condemn it. And let's move on.
Right. Haji Halima Mahama is Minister for Local Government. She has also joined us on set. I was just asking the Information Minister, really, does this detract or subtract from what the president has done, the action by the minority?
Oh, it doesn't distract. To my mind, it doesn't distract. They decided to walk out, and they left some message there because of voters register. Why would they bring that to Parliament, talking about voters register? They've had different fora to discuss this issue. Why walk out on this? And it didn't distract. The president had his message. We filled up the room. I'm hoping that come 21 January, that will be the space we'll be occupying, and people will be occupying both sides. We filled up the room. The president delivered his address in a very decent environment, and we are so happy about that. Full address, giving an actual message, an actual state account of the state, which we all appreciate. It's gone on so well, and we're happy about that.
Speaking of the voter register, they say that the president, by calling for persons to go out and register in this new process, he is endorsing this action by the Electoral Commission, which they say is uncalled for and unlawful.
No. The EC has indicated that they are going to conduct new registration and come out with a new voters register. They have the mandate to say that. What do you expect the president to say? The EC has the constitutional mandate to do that. And the president is telling the Ghanaian public, EC is going to conduct new registration. So go out there and get registered. That's our civic responsibility. It's not contravening.
This is an issue that's in contention, which is why they say the president should not have spoken categorically on this.
What is in contention about it?
The political parties are opposing it, a number of political parties.
And there are a number of political parties who agree with it. It is the responsibility of the EC. The EC had a mandate. If you look at what John Mahama said when he was president, talking about we should leave the EC alone, we should not interfere with the EC's work because the EC has the constitutional mandate to do this. What has changed? Is it not the same EC? Is it not the same constitution? Is it not the same mandate? What has changed? Nothing has changed.
Right.
And it's the EC. If the EC says we think our current system is deficient, we need to improve on it, and we think the only way we can do it to make sure we deliver on our responsibility is to have a new voters register. And this is not the first time we've had a new registration in an election here. This is not the first time. It's happened and it's happened again. This is going to be about the third time.
Now, one of the issues the president touched on in the SONA was the fight against Galamsey, which he says is highly successful. However, the turbidity levels of the river, which went down from 3,200 to 250, have gone way above 3,200 by now. Can we call that successful?
Yes, I think it's successful because fighting Galamsey is not just one variable. That notwithstanding, our waters is so important, it's so critical. It shows that there's a challenge in that area. But it's not for us to say that the whole Galamsey issue is not successful. We had so many people coming into Ghana, most of them even foreigners, degrading our environment, spoiling our water bodies, and we just sat there looking at them and not taking action. So the action has been taken, and the message is out. Ghana telling to all Ghanaians, Galamsey is destroying our environment, is destroying our water bodies. People were even dying through Galamsey. We cannot just sit and allow it to happen. This is a responsible president, a responsible government that has taken the list and providing direction in that. Regard. And so many other things have happened. Today he's talked about what local government has done in training people, giving them vocational skills. Galamseyers who we picked out and they agreed that they wanted to have vocational training. And they've trained out, we've given them equipment, they are working, they set up their own business. Some have even continued to school. So there are many other activities that we've done. And the fact that we are all now talking about it shows that we have set an agenda, a national agenda that we need to look at and work on.
Just yesterday, it was reported that some persons who are members of your party with close ties to members of parliament were arrested by Operation Vanguard, showing that indeed politically exposed persons, including those within your party, are heavily engaged in this illegality.
I will not dispute it because Ghanaians are engaged in that illegality and Ghanaians belong to one party or the other. So I'm not going to dispute what you are saying. Ghanaians belong to one party or the other. Few are neutral. So if you arrest somebody, the person could be either party A, party B, or party C, but the law will take its course.
There are those who say that this reinforces the notion that the party is actually benefiting from the funds accrued from illegal mining.
No, I disagree with that. We banned the small-scale mining for more than a year. The ban was lifted only in June last year, after we had done a lot of processes and set in place on systems. We allowed the small-scale miners who have the documents, who have their documents to go back and then mine. And then we'll design the community mining program for other community members to support in the mining. And to win out Galamsey, we're not saying that Galamsey is completely weaned out, but some steps are being taken and efforts are being made. We have a system in place.
Yeah. A few days ago, you told my colleague Joseph Gakpo that this entire hunt for missing excavators started when you realized 34 of the excavators were missing. Do we now have a clear number on the number of excavators which went missing?
The point I'm making is that this whole process was when an audit was done, and the auditors indicated in their report that the documents in a particular spot in Tema showed that 34 excavators had been brought, but when they did the physical verification, they did not get 34. And that triggered off the investigation. I said, let's investigate. So now we are waiting for the investigators' report. When the report is given, we'll look at it, and then where anybody is found liable, the prosecution will take place. Prosecution will be conducted.
The Minister
but we cannot jump the gun. We have to wait for the investigation.
The Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation told us on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM that they had 140 excavators within their custody just a few weeks ago. Can you confirm this?
If it says though, it must be so. But I also know that we have excavators in different locations, and the number, yes. When I talked about the 34, I'm not saying that we have 34 excavators. I was only saying that 34 were seen not to be physically available as per the documents in a particular spot in Tema. But they had seen all the other excavators. They have seen excavators at different locations. So I said, well, if that's the case, conduct a thorough investigation. That's what I say.
Thank you very much, Haji Halima Mahama. She's Minister for Local Government and Rural Development.
Let me take the opportunity to commend our president. His presentation was thorough. It covered all the critical areas of the